Hello guys, how are you doing and welcome back to Help with Harrz, which is a series I run in order to hopefully improve my subscribers and viewers' Call of Duty ability. Today we're reviewing a channel member called Roomba. They playing on Skyline Hardpoint, and we're going to be focusing on two things primarily. Before we get into it, a little bit of an update on this series. The slate has been wiped clean for Season 4. The inbox is pretty much empty, so if you want your gameplay reviewed, you can do so now. All you have to do is click on the link down in the description below. It's free. All you need to do is upload a video to YouTube or link a VOD to Twitch when you submit the form. And yeah, I'll review it. And if you want priority, because I know there might be a bunch of you doing it, if you want a priority in the review, you can become a channel member and that'll make it so yours becomes top of the list. Now you're probably wondering, is it a little bit too late to submit my gameplay? Black Ops 6 is a little bit old. But I covered this in a stream I did yesterday actually over on Twitch, that there's no better time to try and improve than now, because Black Ops 7 is going to be coming out. If your fundamentals are the part you struggle with and getting used to how to play the map, how to pace yourself, how to use the kill feed, which is what we're going to be going on through today, you may as well do all the hard work now so that when Black Ops 7 releases, ranked play drops, you're ready and you've got all the fundamental skills and abilities already there. So there's no reason to give up now just because Black Ops 6 is coming to somewhat its end of the life cycle. Today's video, as I say, we're going to be touching on two major things. Obviously, the gameplay is going to be on Hardpoint Skyline, as you can see here. It's a very close game with the teammate, with the player we're watching going positive. Looks like a fairly decent stat line. Additional to Skyline Hardpoint tips that we're going to be just naturally covering today, we're going to be focusing on pacing. Black Ops 6 makes it very easy for us to move very quickly, which means you can often get caught out. So we're going to be looking at ways you can match your pacing and make it so that you're not caught out, and when you should be sprinting and when you should be taking it a bit more cautiously, giving you those sort of ideas. And then secondly, the focus is going to be on using the kill feed, knowing when to push certain areas and how to play the map just after you've noticed a few of the enemy team have gone down and where they could be coming from. Before we get into the gameplay, before we get into the analysis, we're going to be looking through the player's form. Then we're going to be getting into the gameplay and then doing a little bit of a summary towards the end. You can probably hear some menu from a Call of Duty music going in on the background, and if you can tell me what game it's from, kudos to you, because it's one of the less popular Call of Duty games. So shout out if you can guess that right down in the comments below. As I say, today we're going to be reviewing Roomba. They play it on console. They play 30 hours a week, and their current rank is Diamond 3. Now, a lot of people get disheartened that they're hard stuck a certain rank or whatever, but you can see the progress this player has made. In particular, their highest rank last year was Plat 2, so they're a whole division higher plus a tier than they were last year. And every year they play COD, maybe their current rank next year will be Grim 3 or Eerie, you know. So that's why you keep the grind going, don't slow it down all the way throughout Black Ops 6 going into Black Ops 7. But that's really nice progress. So first of all, thumbs up for you for there. That's fair play sticking through it. FOV 100, sensitivity and ADS multi seems fine. That's close to what I play on. They play on controller. They are a channel member. And this is the setup they have. I'm just going to move this up slightly because I can't quite see the bottom of the screen. There we go. So I'd like to focus on learning to count names better and to track players, which is what we're covering. And then I struggle mostly with pacing. I try and flex, so I think many times I chow with an AR as if I have a sub and vice versa. So I'm hoping to get better at my pacing in order to help better use both guns when needed. So sort of what we've talked about. So yeah, let's get into the game. Let's rewind this all the way back to the beginning and see what we can do. First of all, I'm liking what we're doing so far.
Looking for Gunny on P2. Nice. On time. I'm more dead.
Solid gameplay so far. Now what's interesting, I'm going to rewind this back slightly. So this player here, Gunny, or whatever the name is here, you can see he's just killed your teammate behind you as you're dying. Now you're using the time you're dead to try and figure out what's going on there, which is actually perfect. That's That's the best thing to do. It's harder to do it when you're alive and you're trying to track names, but this comm,
Looking for Gunny on P2.
Looking for Gunny on P2 is perfect way of tracking names. You can then know when Gunny dies, you can check the kill feed every so often. When you see that Gunny name, you then know that, okay, that player who I was cautious about being behind me is now clear. So using your death cam as time to take your time to look at the kill feed was my first tip I was going to provide for you. But you seem to already be doing that. So yeah, I just want to say, well played for that. That's mega.
On time. I'm more dead.
Shots continue to be solid.
On you on P2. I'm looking piano.
So the only thing I would say, you pace it so far. You're pacing, your callouts, your name tracking seems okay. And the only thing I would suggest is, in a situation like this, the only place where you've got the advantage over the enemy is if they're piano side. And the reason for that, and when you're in AR, to be fair, no matter what gun you're using, you want to make sure that whenever you're taking on a gunfight, you're in a place where you're likely to win that gunfight. Now, you've just established, from what I can hear from your communication, is that you know they're coming from P2. Your teammates just spawn behind you. There's a lot of energy from your teammates behind you. And you can see the red dots on the minimap on your compass. You know they're this side of the map. I'd have loved to have seen you take a little bit of a different stance on this hill, because what's happened here is yes, you're covered from the right somewhat, but you're left open to the half of the map. Okay, I think you're solo queuing at this point. I mean, I believe you are. You're open to top piano. You have nobody there. You're open to kitchen. So the chances of an enemy killing you from the left is just as likely as they are to kill you from the front. So I'd have liked to have seen you maybe back up a little bit, probably to, if you can see my cursor, it's probably to the other side of the pool here, just like head glitch that side. You can then use that to counter top piano. You can then also see into the piano as well. But yeah, I'd have liked to have seen, the enemies are coming from this way. Let's see yourself position to take on gunfights towards that direction.
I'm looking piano.
And when you take on that gunfight as well, and you challenge kitchen, just crouch. You don't necessarily have to stay glitch, but if you just crouch, you've got a little bit more of a head glitch there. It's up to you. If you want that strafe speed, obviously stay up. But again, you saw how open you were when you turned there. You've got no cover here whatsoever. You could have got beam from kitchen. You could have got beam from top piano. So as I say, just get similar to what you do on the stairs here, looking into bedroom. Just do the same, but the other side of the hot tub.
Twisted is half cat. Twisted half cat to flank for P2. Gunny in kitchen. Weak.
Exactly this position. This is exactly what I was referring to. Okay. One thing I'd have done differently.
Twisted is half cat. Twisted half cat to flank for P2.
Good comms. Your comms are fantastic, by the way. You have 15 seconds after this objective. Okay, you've got the bad spawns. Your primary focus should be trying to get to the new objective. Okay, however you want to do that, it's up to you. You've got two teammates who decide to go under, which is fantastic. Now, the benefit of leaving scrap time is that on the new objective, or on the setup of the new objective, you've got 3 players maximum, because you know one is at old. Therefore, playing with the rest of your team to try and challenge the new objective means it's a 4 versus 3, and you've got a higher success percentage, well, higher chances of breaking that setup. Whereas if you, so as a solo, try and get the scrap time, which I get you've got to run through it anyway, but it's really hard scrap time to break, especially when you are by yourself and you're a low bedroom. You're not in a favourable position here. I think I'd much prefer to have seen you just try and challenge new. Personally, I'd have probably either gone top, challenge with an AR, overlooking the hot tub, or clear piano, so that then they'll focus on piano. So you either need to be a obstacle or a distraction for the enemy team who are setting up. So yeah, as I say, go top above you, top bedroom, go to the roof, try and challenge piano, try and challenge P1. They're then going to be focused on you. At least a couple of players are going to be focused on you, whilst the team are flanking round. Or you just join your team. Put on a sub. You said yourself you're a bit of a flex player. Put on a sub, triple hit bottom. Yeah, it's gonna baffle them. Triple hit bottom, or work your way through kitchen. But do something like that. playing as a solo against another solo on P1, or maybe 2 players. It seems like there were 2 watching P1, or at least maybe the other guy was set up at P2. I don't know. It's probably not the best move here, and we spend a lot of time. We pretty much give them the whole time. We don't overly challenge too much here, which is the right thing to do, but it's essentially meant you're now 3 meters of spawn with a few seconds left of time. That's fine. That gunfight's a hard gunfight. I'm not going to critique you too much about that one.
Stay alive, stay alive. We've got split, stay alive.
We've got split, stay alive. This is brilliant. I'm really actually loving the comms. So you're aware that your teammates are in the back and you've just spawned out as well. But because the enemies are also dying, you know the enemies and your teammates are in the back. You know the enemies are spawning out with you. So they're probably going to be spawning bedroom area to your right. So that's really good comms from you. I'm not hearing many comms from anybody else. So I don't know whether you're in game chat just trying to provide comms for your teammates. Gunner's dead. You know he's dead.
Missing twisted, missing twisted. Hey, there it is. Twisted's high wide. Still there, still there. Nice.
Nice.
I'm more one shot.
That's tough. Now, when you get to an advanced level of counting names, I'm going to rewind this slightly.
Yeah, nice.
You already wear gunners first. You've just come off spawn, so it's a little bit safe for you to look at the kill feed now because you know that's how the game works. You know that you're waiting for gunner, and then whatever that name is, K. We're going to call it K. We're going to call them K. So the first person off of spawn is going to be gunner, then K, and that should be in the back of your head. Okay. So you challenge this as you normally would, and in the ideal situation, you'd then kill this player. Really tough gunfight. This. I'm not sure how you managed to lose that.
I'm more one shot.
That's tough. That's tough. But in an ideal situation, you'd have killed that player, and then you'd have known, okay, we're waiting for gun, and then K. And if K challenges you before gun, you know that then gun is taking a route. Does that make sense? So gun died first, then K, and you'd have been able to see that briefly from when you were spawning in, so that when you're then, you know, let's say you take ownership of P2, you were successful in that gunfight, you're then looking around and you're ready to set up, you should then see gun and then K. If you don't see gun first and you see K, chances are gun is taking a flank, and that's how you can read players taking a little bit of route when they should be coming at you first because they died first, but you're not sensing that, but they haven't done that. But you put good damage out for your teammates to hopefully get the trade. They did get the trade.
Looking for twisted. Piano weak. I'm Harrz kitchen.
Comms are really clean. So you spawn in, and this area is really tough. Okay, I am a massive advocate of going anywhere but piano if you can help it. Obviously, if they're properly set up around the rest of the map, that's fine. But from piano, you've got the threat of them being so many places. Okay, they can use. I'm going to see if I can draw on the screen here. They can use this window as a heady. They could be in the lounge back here somewhere and have a point of perspective on you there. They could be at the back steps looking into piano. There are so many places they can be that it makes it difficult. Unless you're four banging this out as a team, makes it really difficult to win your challenges. What I'd have probably liked to have seen, get a sub on. P2, it's easy to break with a sub, and play through catwalk. Throw stun and nade through the vent, and challenge through the front, but time it with your teammates, okay? That's probably what I'd have preferred to have seen you do. Now, if you do, let's say you jump down and then you think, oh shit, it's a bit too late for that. You've got a nade and the stun, and your teammate here is, for you now, your main priority is to try and make sure this teammate can get through. Because you're an AR, you're backing up your player who's ahead of you. And in order to do that, what you could do is go to this head glitch and just look into this window, because then at least your teammate can't die from that window. Okay, and that's one way in which you could cover your teammate. Your teammate's then got other directions to go through. So you could literally just set up there, look at that window. From that window, I think you can probably see back steps as well. But that would have made that would have got you this kill. But then you throw your stuns and nades. If they're on the hill, throw your stuns and nades. But yeah, if you're deciding to take a route which is treacherous, such as this one, you need to play it slowly because there's so many lines of sights here. You're gonna get caught out if you're not steady. Okay, so that's why I say maybe just take a step back, sit on that head glitch near the pool, and consider your position from there.
I'm Harrz kitchen. I'm Harrz kitchen.
Your teammates are getting good kills. Same with Geo. Shout out Geo.
Cardio Piano weak.
You're still weak. Oh, good shots.
I'm more top. I'm more top.
Yeah, I don't mind that gameplay. We're a little bit behind on the point count here.
Could be taking her out. Backside, Gunny. Kill dead. Yeah.
Okay, I think you do have comms from your teammates.
Could be taking her out.
I'm just reround it a little bit.
Backside, Gunny.
Okay, I don't actually mind this too much.
Kill
Good
dead.
kill.
Yeah.
And you react nicely to the fact your teammates have spawned out as well. So I don't mind this at all.
More backside. More grass.
But yeah, let's just see if we can hold it from this side now. So like this, back your team, win that gunfight.
Deep grass. Deep grass.
Okay, you had no obligation to take that gunfight on. You were in a position where they were on a head glitch and you really weren't. I'd have loved to have seen you try and evade this. And part of picking your gunfights carefully comes from the fact when you know and you're not in that you're not in the position to win that gunfight. The first gunfight, if we rewind back to it, I think 50-50 gunfight. You had the pre-fire on them, you had the pre-aim on them, and there's no headies that they have that you don't have. Okay, you both got the table, so that's a fair gunfight. But as soon as it gets to this position, you should be, unless you're shooting like Dashy, you should not be taking on this gunfight. You should be backing out as quickly as you can, strafe to the left, slide down, lay down, whatever you need to do, back out of this gunfight because you should try and instantly recognize whether or not they've got the advantage. Okay. I like you just do damage, and I think you just standing up to that is solid. But yeah, your focus here should just be trying to play your life and stop them from getting as much hill time on this as possible, because then at least you've got this hill time whilst they have the next hill. Good kills.
I left. Someone go. Next guy spawn. Get the guy P1.
Tough nade.
I'll pick up P1.
Really nice selfless play from you there.
P1 dead. Top ed. Twisted. Twisted P1. Or twisted. He should be there.
Okay.
Look in the back. Missing Cartier. Cartier in the back. Dead.
Nice. Nice. That's perfect pacing. That is perfect pacing. When you say you want to try and improve pacing, that is spot on. You waited for them to chow. You know they had to chow you, otherwise they'd lose spawns, and you just pre-aimed it. You thought, okay, this is quite a tight area. I've got an AR. Let me back up and just pre-aim, and that worked. So fair play.
Cartier weak on bedroom.
There's a few gunfights we're losing. I'm not. It's hard to determine why they're being lost. We are just taking a stand-up gunfight. I think they tried to strafe around the corner or something. We tried to track them and didn't. But yeah, that's a tough gunfight to lose.
You can pitch up from top.
I do wonder what the plan was from here. I think you try and break it with your teammate. You try and run forward a little bit. Yeah, it's tough.
You can pitch up from top. I have patio. Don't worry about it. I hear you better. Patio bedroom.
Ooh, good shots.
I'm more so bedroom. Cardio bedroom.
Just want to say, by the way, I'm surprised you're not Crim.
Missing Gunny.
Nice.
It's a orange. Twisted.
The biggest thing I'm noticing isn't necessarily your pacing; it's more of your positioning. Because I think your pacing's quite good there. Like when you've chowed out, I think that's clean. That's fine. You've left the hill because your teammate's on it. You then try to challenge anyone coming from piano, which I don't mind. You've tried to slide behind the couch. Unfortunately, you get two-pieced. Fine. As an AR, this is very tempting to do, but if I'm being really critical, you want to try and take top control. Okay, above you is where you want, because when you look down here, there's Godheady, top piano can see you. It's a risky play. When you're playing, whether it's a sub or an AR, you need to learn like the danger zones in the map. Okay, bottom bedroom is a danger zone, especially when you're taking on a gunfight that faces 1, 2, 3 absolute Godheadies. Okay, try and avoid those areas at all costs. But yeah, I'd have probably gone up top, and then tried to force the P2 rotation, not necessarily through P1, but over the top. You can clear P1 as you go over the top, and that's probably the route I'd have chosen there. But so far, pacing seems good.
Are you? I'm making time. Cartier, close right on point.
Just gonna look at this gunfight again. Yeah, it's tough. When you slide, and sometimes your aim does rise. So I'm not going to critique that too much. When you're that close, hip fire. That's the only thing I'd say.
I'm pinching P2.
Fine. I don't find you sprinting too much. Like, you're pre-aiming the right places, so I don't think pacing is a crazy concern for you. Your teammates just spawn to your left, which tells you they're probably kitchen, which is what you're picking up now, which I don't mind. You are running a lot. That does
Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint identified.
Nice. Perfection. That is perfect. That tells me you've watched Help with Harrz before. How do we make that gunfight even harder for him? Throw a stun at him. Perfect. That's brilliant. Now, the only thing I noticed about this whole sequence of events is how many times we pre-aimed. Okay, so you're in the enemy's lair. The teammates just spawned to your left, so I've rewound it a little bit. Apologies if it's confusing. You know the teammates are beneath you and kitchen. Seeing how many times you pre-aim. You knew the enemy was there, so that doesn't count. How many times are you pre-aiming without even knowing the enemy's there? None. So you went around the whole of the enemy lair without trying to pre-aim anything. And I think whilst it didn't cost you right here, right now, you may as well pre-aim something. With an AR, I get this is difficult when you're flexing, but part of pacing with an AR means you do have to slow down a slight bit compared to what you were doing there to ADS. Okay, now, you don't have to ADS everything. That's a bit annoying, but ADS where you think they probably should be. So, for example, I'll point out in this sequence of events again. You pre-aim that, to be fair. Okay, but now we just run around here. So there's player bottom white. What you could have done is just stay top white and pre-aim down. Okay, that should have been like, and just pre-aim over the ledge. You could have then pre-aimed top zip, and and then just wait and paused. And then if they walked either round to the back of the objective here, or they come up the zip into P2, you sort of got that locked down. That's one place I'd have probably pre-aimed. I think you're very much focused on the red dots and you're chasing them. I'd have probably also pre-aimed back steps there quickly. I'd have pre-aimed the lift as we come around there. And then you be in search for again, so I'd have probably pre-aimed the steps and then slid out and try and maybe checked here. You only really want to pre-aim the entrances where they could get to you. But to be fair, it worked out in your favor. It didn't really matter so much there, but when you're in the enemy's lair and you should sense enemies coming, I want to see some more pre-aims, because when you've got a stiff AR, you're going to want a little bit more. You're going to want to read them a bit more. If you have a sub, it's fine because you can just ADS and beam someone, because the ADS is super quick. But yeah, I can imagine in a higher ranked lobby that you're getting caught out like that. They've just got an absolutely disgusting 3-piece. Now, I'm not going to break down this gameplay as much because I think I've covered a lot of the stuff already. Going forward, I know we're halfway through the video, so I'm going to brief over things as they happen rather than pause and rewind unless there's something something I noticed. So again, that piano area, avoid it. If you've got an AR and you're by yourself, avoid it. Push through kitchen. There's only a handful of. There's barely any places they could be. If you get kitchen control and you manage to like obtain that area, pushing actually round to P2, all you really need to worry about is these head glitches on your right on the sofas and top white. But you can just nade top white before you even get to it.
I'm getting on time. Look who's in the back. Nice.
Hostiles have captured the hard
Your name count is perfect.
Wow.
Your name count is perfect.
I'm more so on time.
I think the thing that's holding you back more than that is pacing slightly and then positioning.
Only weak on time and more. Yes. I'm more so on time.
Okay. You are about to face somebody on a disgusting head glitch. Okay, whether they're on there or they're on that table over there. Disgusting head glitch. Is that a sensible gunfight to take if you're just stood in the open? Gonna draw you like you were there. No, that is not a sensible gunfight to have. You either go up top steps, go across the cat, drop down, and then try and challenge them from the side, or you make the gunfight fair. So they're on a head glitch there. You've got table, barbecue, chair, bin, further back chair. You know, there are areas you can use to make the gunfight a little bit more even whilst your teammate flanks. If your job here of squaring up, which might be fine, is to just distract them enough so that the enemies from here can get around the back and pinch or pinch from the side, then you could be doing that while being more of a distraction. The fact you get deleted almost instantly because you're stood in this open space means you're not a distraction at all. Okay? So be hard to kill, get behind a head glitch. Any of these will be fine. And really try and be difficult to kill. Get some damage out, pre-fire, do what you need to do. Just be really annoying and just make it so that the enemies have got a lot of focus on this side of the objective and allow your teammates to push through. Okay? And I think that sort of pacing, but also match positioning at the same time.
And more. Yes.
hardpoint locked down.
I'll pick up you one. To sit down.
Hostiles have the
At this stage, I don't think you should be focusing any more on name counting. I think you're doing a good job at that. A good enough job that's not the thing that's holding you back. I think it'd be nice to have if you had perfect everything else, but there's still things that we could improve upon. That you don't. Yeah, you've got better name counting than most people in Crimson, and probably a lot of people in Crimson. Even Eerie. I don't even know if people name count in Eerie, like, for the most part, to be honest. It's just a nice thing to have if you can do it. Nice.
point active. Hardpoint locked down.
I hear you on closet. Cardio back hobble.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Cardio still back hobble. Cardio back hobble.
Nice. Glad you did that. Because it'd have been blocking your teammates from spawning in, so huge thumbs up for you there.
Back patio. More dead.
Nice gunfight win again.
Top couple.
You've come across a couple nades now, and you've still got this. Okay? I say it every help with Harrz. These come so frequently. These 3 slots get refilled very frequently. Okay? That's all I'm going to say.
I hear you closet.
Actually, that's not what I'm going to say. Use them more. Use them more.
Cardio closet. Cardio still closet. Last guy.
So a really good hold there. Really good hold. You got a lot of hill time there. We've brought it back to even, coming into P1 again. Oh, you got the crouch. You weren't quite sprinting fast enough. We've got good spawns. We're in a real nice spot.
So missing twisted.
You don't need to work on your name count. Listen to this. Look how this is actually a good example of how you should do it. To everyone else watching, this is an example of how you should do it.
I'm going to the PT here.
Twisted dies on the enemy team.
I'm more still kitchen. Cardio. Twisted Chiwe on time. Twisted time.
You've killed 3 players since.
I'm missing Twisted.
Still missing Twisted. You do not need to work on your name counting. This is brilliant. I promise you, this is better than a lot of people I play with. Okay, this is brilliant. You're still missing Twisted. It's a map where there's an underground route. Perhaps that should alert your teammates that he's potentially going underground or over. But the biggest thing of all, when you're name counting as well as you are, you should be thinking, okay, still missing Twisted. Where is he? Where have we not got covered? Okay, is he... I've got kitchen covered, so I know he's not here. I've got P1, he's not on P1, so we can see he's not on P1. We have top cat covered, so where does that leave Twisted to be coming from? He's either AFK back in spawn and hasn't bothered to move, which is fine, or he's coming underground, or something. You know, that should... Missing a player, which is what you've identified, so you've already got that ticked off. Missing a player should bring alarm bells in your ears and make you wonder, okay, let me take a look at the tac map. What do we not have covered? That's the whole point of counting names.
Nice.
But your teammate's got it anyway. Perfect.
I'm starting time. I'm staying down on time. Hey. I'm just staying down. Pick up kitchen. Next last one, pick up the kitchen. Hey. Nice. Going bottom.
I'm really loving this.
And then the more time.
There's a lot of fundamental good teamwork you've got here. The only thing I would say,
Hey.
you're pretty useless here. You're left out for dead. Okay, you understand that your teammates don't quite have kitchen.
Nice. Going bottom gym.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You played your life as much as you can there. It's really up for the teammates to try and help you out. You spawn here, I want to see you go left. That's 18 seconds of P1. At most, you win the gunfight and get 10 or 15. I want to see you go P2. Good gunfight. Keep going. You've got a nade, you have a stun. If you really want to get them off time that much, you'd have used them. Last guy kitchen. The rest off spawn. Tough gunfight. Twisted's Twisted.
Spawn out. 1, 2, 3 guys. 2. They're spawning back there. Oh.
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Your spawn awareness is fantastic as well. The fact that you know to look for a parallel spawn there is brilliant. Now play life.
Zip.
However tempting that would have been to get on the hill, it wasn't the right thing to do. Yeah, I think get the score to get the extra capture and the 25 assist, the 25 XP. But you're in a position where you've got no teammates with you, and you're in an area where it alerts the enemy as to where you are. Okay, they know you're in this square somewhere, and the corner you pick is a very predictable corner. Okay, this is where most people sit most of the time when they're on this objective. What you should have done, get the kill, and then play your life out the backside, whether you sit at the top of red and just sit down in the corner and lay down waiting for a gunfight to come your way, waiting for your teammates to push. Your main focus right here when you manage to get through to their defense is to wait for your team and stop them from spawning in. Okay, and you could do that by coming back out, playing your life, running all the way back to the green, or just sitting top red or going around the little route to white. Anything like that would have just bought you time. The fact you decide to sit on the hill here with no support, it's a realistic. You've got to assume the enemies are on you. You've got to assume the enemies are on you, like you know, because you have to. Otherwise, you may as well assume the worst and be prepared for it. You're going to be facing a 2 versus 1 because there's only 2 enemies dead. You're going to be facing a 2 versus 1, and they're likely to know where you are. Play your life a little bit more. Stop the enemies from spawning in, because you've died. The enemies, you're now probably going to spawn out. The enemies are probably going to spawn at the back, and you're in no better position because you've won that gunfight. Yeah, the enemy spawn back here, I believe. Your teammates are doing a really good job.
Be on the steps. I'm going now. Cardio on you. Stand up, pick up.
So all that, to be fair, your teammates have clutched up, but that's probably what I'd have done differently there.
Yeah, cardio week on time.
Good gunfight, good challenge. Maybe work on your nade throwing a little bit, because I think that did seem a little bit... I think you tried to pick it up. Which is fine. We'll ignore that.
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Sorry, I've got allergies. That's why I've got quite an itchy nose, so apologies.
We've given up the lead.
More dead.
Something some of you might not know as well, whether you're grass... I'm going to draw this on a map, actually. Where are we? So whether you are here or here, you can throw a nade over the building, whichever way you want. So if you spawn... If the enemies aren't really on the time and you know they're spawning back here and you've just spawned in here, throw a nade over. You know, especially if your teammates just killed an enemy, they're going to spawn in and bam, dead to a nade. That, or if you're lucky with your timing, the nade landing here actually blocks the spawn and makes the enemy spawn all the way further out. Okay, because the game's not going to land on a spawning enemy on a nade that's already there. So a really nice way, even if you spawn here and you want to stop an enemy, let's say there's an enemy sat on one of these headies, throw a nade over. It's an easy way to put out some damage, especially if you're trying to rotate through all the way to the P4 here. Okay, throw your nade over. It's a nice little trick. Give it a go. Get used to it. Practice it in a bot lobby, whatever.
That's good. That's good. I'm blocking.
Hard point locked down.
I'm blocking. There you.
Hostiles have the hard point.
I think there's too much emphasis on blocking.
I hear you.
You're being outplayed, Crimson One. Step it up.
Nothing back grass yet. I don't see anything.
Okay, I'm gonna explain what I just said.
I'm blocking.
Okay,
Given up the lead.
rewind this a little bit further. Teammate dies.
More dead. That's good. That's good. I'm
That's
blocking.
3 dead.
Locked down.
I'm blocking.
No, this is actually the right play.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hostiles have the hard point.
Twisted, we got time.
Yeah, good play.
You're being outplayed, Crimson One. Step it up.
You read this player well.
Nothing back grass yet. I don't see anything. That's him.
You can make sure you're covering bedroom. You've got left.
Outer. Watch you under.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this. You're leaving your team to get scrap time. This is fine.
There you.
We've claimed the advantage. Now hold it. Hard point identified.
Give me capo.
Now, when you need the P4 rotation, winning that gunfight, or at least just staying alive, is a must. Okay? Realistically, if I'm being critical of your team, there's 3 seconds left on P3. You should not have 3 players at old with 3 seconds left. First thing, foremost, okay?
First one out here.
But
Point identified.
There you.
We've claimed the advantage. Now hold.
taking on this position, you know they're coming this way. Do you feel like this is an advantageous spot to take on this gunfight? Do you not think it'd probably be better to back up to the umbrella? Do you not think it'd be better to maybe go a little bit deeper into the spawn so that you can make sure you can keep an eye on the right hand side as well? Do you not think it'd be maybe slightly beneficial to just lay down right at the back in a really obscenely creddy corner? Taking this gunfight on is risky because you've got so much of your body exposed and you're almost giving them a little bit of a head glitch.
Hard point identified.
Cardiac weak.
Tough.
Give me capo. We're gonna spawn out here.
Okay, we spawn out, we get 2 dead, your teammates pushing the back.
Hard point locked down.
Back patio, Gunny. The more spawn kitchen. Look at this one kitchen. Oh. Yeah, more.
Yeah. So I think that was just a slight misread of spawns.
The hard point.
But that's fine. Should be doable.
Tackle.
Alright, go for it.
Requesting Hellstorm launch.
I'm in the back.
You should win this from now. There's 35 seconds left of the time. You need 15 seconds. You've got a cruise. That's 2 down. Okay, so it's a 2v2 for the hill with your teammate actually nowhere near.
They're spawning out. They're all spawning out. They're all spawning out.
Good comms.
All spawning out. They're all spawning out.
Again, you're ADSing in a position where you've got absolutely no cover. Okay, and you're open to so much here. Narrow down the line of sight and make it so that you only really have to focus on a real slim area. So yeah, in short, this with me, I'm sliding, cancelling up to this head glitch and looking from the head glitch. Teammates going huge there though.
Hard point is secure.
Nice.
Hard point located.
Cartier P1.
Again, bedroom being that really
Five.
hot point.
We've taken
Pushing on kitchen. Pushing on kitchen.
on target.
Ooh.
There you.
Hard point is active. Hostiles have
Hey, life well. Teammate needs to get one. Got pieced. Huge 2 from you.
hostiles have captured the hard point.
2 lane down time. 2 lane.
Okay, that's tough. I don't think there's much more you could have done there, to be honest. You needed to chow. Fine. Okay. So, let's rewind it and summarize. First things first. Your focus on names and knowing where people are and how many people are left
I'm more dead.
is brilliant. Okay, that's better than most people I play with, and I don't feel like that's something you should probably work on, like, or try and improve, because that's perfect. It's as good as you need it to be for the rank you are. All right. The second thing is your pacing can sometimes be off, but that's almost comes in partnership with your positioning on the map as well. So try and slow it down more. When you've got an AR in your hands like you do here, you should be causing enemies, and you're really good at reading the map as well, by the way. But because your shots are good, there's so much about your gameplay that I've said is good. Your communication's perfect as well. All of that's brilliant. But when you're an AR player, most of the time the enemy should be walking into your line of sight. Okay, or at least half the time you should be aiming somewhere because you know when enemies are spawning and where they need to be, and they come that way. A lot of your gunfights are reactionary, especially when we took that time to see when you were in the enemy's lair back P2, how many times you actually ADS was very minimal. And with an AR, you need to make sure ADS so that you're not caught having to come out of sprint, then ADS, and then shoot with a slower time to kill gun. You're not going to win gunfights that way. So you slow it down. And when I say like your pacing just needs to be slowed slightly down, or when it comes to pre-aiming, that's the only thing. Your general pacing across the map is probably fine. There's not too much there, but pre-aim more with an AR, even with a sub perhaps at some points, but you can just probably get away with it a little bit more at a sub. So just try and pre-aim more. I'm not saying every kill you get should be an enemy walking into your line of sight, but half minimum should be that. All right. The other thing I want to say is your utility usage. I didn't see you use many trophies, but I think this might be a scrim. I think this might be a scrim over a ranked play, so you've only 2 of you can use trophies at once, which is fine. And that's the case, and that's the case. But at least you use your nades and stuns more. You use your stuns really good positions a lot of the times, but your nades you didn't use much. So for, like when P1 was obtained by the enemy, you can throw it. You can throw a nade over from any of your spawn points to P1, and you didn't do that once. There's so many places you probably could have used nades better. And then finally, maneuver. Something I've witnessed a lot in this gameplay is that you're moving around the map in areas where you're unlikely to win gunfights. Okay, so those hotspots such as bottom bedroom, bottom piano, those areas where you're challenging there, you're unlikely to win gunfights, so you should try and avoid them. Now, whenever you're maneuvering around the map, you should try and make it so that when you come across a player, you have the advantage at any time. Okay, so whether that's going from head glitch to head glitch to head glitch to head glitch, whether that's what you want to do, like it's Gears of War, that's absolutely fine. And the best way to do that is watch pro players' movement around the map. Where do they go? What routes do they take? Or get into a bot lobby and say, right, I need to get from my spawn here, make up a scenario. I need to get from here, and I need to get to P2, for example. How could I do that, and what route should I take so that I've got the advantage most of my way there? Okay, that should be what you should try to work on, those 3 things. Utility usage, map positioning and route taking, and then your pacing, just with an AR, slow it down. Pre-aim more. All right, pre-aim more. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I'll be very surprised. I'll eat my words if you're not crim by the end of Season 4. Keep grinding ranked play. You've got most of what is required to be crim. And I'm surprised you're not there already. If you're not there already, I'll be surprised. But definitely Season 4, by the end of it, you're going to be in crim. And you have the potential to be Eerie. It might be just a matter of game time. It might be a matter of just working on a couple of small things. But Crimson's 100% achievable. 100%. That's going to be me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Ciao for now.